Holyoke. It's among the Western Massachusetts communities where factory work was once its lifeblood. And now community members are working to establish a new identity more fitting the 21st century. Holyoke Innovation Week, which kicks off Monday, is an effort to showcase some of the high-tech and, well, innovative things happening in the place still known as the Paper City, a nod to that once vibrant industry. I spoke with 3 people tied to this effort, including Insiyah Mohammad Bergeron, Holyoke Innovation District's manager.
Basically, we're talking about the area where there are canals, former industrial area dominated by mill spaces, more and more being occupied by mixed-use spaces everywhere from Main Street to High Street and the canal area in between.
So lots of walkable space there in downtown Holyoke. Insiyah, you came aboard as a TDI fellow in August, one representing here in Holyoke, but there are also TDIs in Springfield and in Pittsfield. The work that you're doing here in Holyoke, is it something that you discuss with those other areas to maybe learn best practices?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm one of 7 fellows scattered throughout gateway cities throughout Massachusetts, and we have calls every week. We meet as a cohort at least once a month, and we also go on some fun learning trips together. So if there's a concept that we're interested in exploring, like how do you create a cool farmers market downtown, we'll go visit one that inspires us, or a multi-tenant restaurant space, we'll go visit that. So there's lots of sharing and learning, so we're not all starting from scratch each time.
Great. And Nelson, for you, sort of double duty here on our discussion panel today, because you're a city councilor, but you're also running a nonprofit. And as I understand it, one of the elements of transformative development, first stay with the new mouth, initiatives is this sort of concept of bringing folks from different backgrounds, private sector, public sector, together. Do you feel like that's happening in Holyoke right now?
Yeah, I definitely have to say under Marco's leadership and with Insiyah, since she's taken over the Innovation Week and the Innovation District, we've really seen, like I said, with Marcos in the city and even the city council, this blending and merging. So even from Ray Street to Main Street, we're starting to have conversations and seeing investment and development. I represent Nueva Esperanza, and so like even creating this Puerto Rican cultural district that matches with all the amazing stuff that's happening on Ray Street, to connect that to High Street, to the City Hall district. We're really seeing a blending of both worlds, and that's a beautiful thing. And actual dollar investment, and looking at Cabot Street from the Willimantic Bridge right when you come off of Chicopee into Holyoke, connecting that to right when you come off of 391. I'm loving it, and from Nueva's perspective, we're excited for it because it's rooted in cultural production, and that's the most innovative way to go. If you're making culture the centerpiece of development, it's going to be fun and awesome.
When we talk about Innovation Week, there are lots of different workshops and speakers groups and things going on. How did you develop the concept and decide, what's in, what's out? How did you do that?
Well, the Innovation District initiative has been going on for several years, but we wanted to make sure that we had a celebration. We're coming up on our 5-year anniversary, where it really wasn't about necessarily about the district institutional partners or the city, but really the players that are making the district such a great place, like Nelson was talking about, cultural production, small businesses, entrepreneurship initiatives like Spark. And let people take the reins on the type of activities that they're doing day to day, but opening that up to the community. And so Insiyah, and I'll turn it over to her, provided a framework to open it up to the community and have people buy into to the process and propose activities.
Yeah, and it really was a self-selecting process. So we invited, through multiple channels, anyone who was interested in doing something cool and something innovative and wants to share it with the community to come talk to me, and we develop concepts for workshops and things together. So it's really highlighting the best of what people do in their own space and creating a network so that people see how one really interesting place connects to another, and also, by the way, they're right next to each other, and how walkable are they and how bikeable are they. And so thinking about modes of transportation, getting people to see what a cool downtown we have in terms of infrastructure as well as people.
Yeah, and an opportunity to then see, like, oh, wow, that really is going on in my community. So an interesting way to expose people to that. Yeah. Nelson, Nueva's doing a cultural workshop. What's that going to look like?
So it's going to be Bomba en Plena. In Nueva Esperanza, we're opening a Puerto Rican Afro-Caribbean Cultural Center. So we already have really amazing cultural production going on. We have a kiln for pottery making and clay making and vejigante masks. So our cultural workshop is going to be all rooted in dance. So we have Bomba de Aquí, they're a Bomba en Plena troupe. They're going to be teaching people the traditional dances and teaching people how to drum, which is really exciting. And so that's on a Tuesday. But the Sunday before, too, we have Mercado on Main Street. It's the kickoff street festival and fair that Nueva has always been in our mission plan and our vision. And when we talked to Insiyah and the team, I really got to give her a lot of credit, because before Insiyah, innovation was kind of stuffy. It wasn't that innovative, but she walks in the door and boom, it's fun, it's festive, it's innovative. The street fair. So now, as a result of Innovation Week, we're launching a monthly street and art fair vendor festival that's going to happen the third Sunday of the month on Main Street. Ongoing. It's going to go. It's going to kick off this month, the 22nd, on a Sunday. It's going to go all the way through August. So the third Sunday of every month, now there'll be Mercado on Main Street as a result of Innovation Week.
And Insiyah, I read when you came to the job in August in Mass Live that you felt like you were meeting some of the most interesting people you've ever encountered in your life in downtown Holyoke. Who did you meet that made you make that statement?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've lived before this in Boston, New York, and I think one of the things you learn there very quickly is don't smile at anyone, don't talk to anyone.
Do not make eye contact. That's a very, very staunch rule in New York.
And that was the complete opposite experience that I had in Holyoke, and I think that just allowed me to meet amazing people who you throw an idea and they throw it back at you 10 times better. So a lot of these people are people that I'm collaborating with, Marcos and Nelson, and we have, for instance, we're having a workshop on silk screening. People can come create their own t-shirts, but it's all about activism in Puerto Rico and in Holyoke. So come learn a little bit about the histories of these people that have been pushing your community in very interesting ways, and you get to create an art piece that inspires you to action, and that's being led by Paper City Clothing Company and the Center for Design Engagement, people I met on the street. So it's been nice to find specific projects to work with people on.
I think Holyoke is not unique in that it's a city, so that it struggles with crime and other problems, as does Springfield, as does Pittsfield. So when people are reluctant to go to Holyoke because they think, oh, it's not safe, how do you talk to people about, okay, yeah, this is a reality sometimes, but what do you say to them if they say, I'm reluctant to go downtown?
Well, normally what we say is come to an event for Innovation Week, and you'll see for yourself. Not only will you feel safe, I think mostly this is a perception issue, but you'll see how we're breaking down salads in so many ways. Nelson and Insiyah have perfectly described how so much work is going on, but you'll see that it's not always just one institution making an event. It's just so many people from the business community working with Nelson, or Insiyah working with folks who are activists right on Main Street, or trying to take some of our entrepreneurs and giving them an opportunity to go to market at the food truck festival. It's breaking down those barriers that are so often common in the cities, and that outshines everything else, and it starts changing people's perceptions.
Very quickly, $112 million in projects in the pipeline. Where do you see Holyoke in the next 5 years?
We're going to see a lot more investment in housing, in new businesses in the center of the city, housing for all income levels and of high quality. We're starting to see a very positive trends in unemployment and in construction. I anticipate that continuing throughout that period.
Great. Good to talk with all three of you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.